In this first installment of Arguments Against Atheism, we explore a common position you may have heard from your atheist friends. We're like biological machines, and all of our actions and thoughts and everything are all just like determined by laws of physics and chemistry. I mean, this is basically common knowledge now. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you a fatal argument against this position, and I do mean fatal. Welcome to Arguments Against Atheism, a series that aims to provide clear and simple arguments against common atheist positions. I'm Jimbob, and I'm here to deliver the goods. First, I should clarify, not everyone who is an atheist believes that matter exists and only matter exists, nor does every atheist necessarily defend hard determinism. However, these are common positions taken by atheists. Well, atheism is just like the position that holds there's no belief in a God. What are you even talking about? Well, yes, and many of you come to that position based on the assumption that physicality is all there is. So let's examine the assumption. According to the view that we are all merely biological machines, our actions, our thoughts, and our words are all determined by the laws of physics and chemistry. Let's say it in a much more direct way. Everything we think, everything we say, everything we do are all effects determined by physics and chemistry. Okay, well, let's take a look at some other effects of physics in the natural world. Let's take a tornado. This is an effect of a cause. Let's call it a combination of natural conditions. This is a blade of grass growing. Another effect of a cause, also a combination of natural conditions. These are two occurrences entirely determined by the laws of physics. Now, would it make sense to say one of these occurrences are more true or more false than the other? No, they just are. They're effects. We could say that a description of one or the other could be more accurate or less accurate, but as far as the effect goes, it is what it is. It's just an effect. It's not true or false. Because it's not propositional. It's an effect of physics. Make sense? Now, here's where we have a problem. If all of our thoughts and words and actions are caused by the laws of physics, then they too are effects of physics. That means our descriptions of tornadoes or blades of grass are also just effects which are determined by the laws of physics and chemistry. Well, didn't we just establish that effects of physics are neither true or false? They just are. How can an effect of physics be anything other than what it is? What it's determined to be by the law. If an evaluation or proposition is an effect of physics, how can it be wrong or right? It just is, like a blade of grass or a tornado. Now, my critics will say, no, Jimbob, propositions are different because they are descriptions of effects, to which I would respond, well, those descriptions are just effects determined by the laws of physics, right? Yeah, but we can evaluate our descriptions and see if they comport with reality. To which I would respond, are evaluations just effects determined by the laws of physics? Yeah, but we can test to see if our evaluations are accurate. To which I would respond, isn't testing just another effect determined by physics and chemistry? So we have a determined effect of physics we call an evaluation, followed by another determined effect of physics we call a description, followed by another determined effect of physics called testing, which requires more effects, more effects, more effects, and on. Yeah, so what's the problem? Well, the problem is it's a vicious circle. And this is where I gift you the fatal argument against this position. Premise 1, effects of physics are neither more true or false than any other effects of physics. Premise 2, thoughts, evaluations, and propositions are effects of physics. Conclusion, evaluations and propositions are not more true or false than other evaluations and propositions. They just are. You see, the consequence of this position is fatal to knowledge itself. If any knowledge claim or belief is just an effect of physics, and what we call knowledge is dependent on truth or falsity of a claim, then knowledge is impossible. Because evaluations and claims are just effects of physics, and effects are neither true or false. They just are. The position gets worse. If all of our thoughts, actions, and beliefs are effects determined by the laws of physics, then a Christian belief and an atheist belief and any other worldview is just an effect of physics. Saying a Christian has a false belief is equivalent to saying they have a false effect of physics. How can we believe anything other than which is strictly determined by the laws of physics? How can an effect of physics be false? Well, the atheist might say, well, some effects of physics can be true and some can be false. Okay, so if one effect of physics can be true or false, here's my challenge to the atheist who holds this position. What is the categorical difference between a tornado and thinking? Well, they might say, duh, a tornado isn't doing any evaluating. Well, let's try again. What is the difference between a tornado and evaluating? Well, the difference is complexity and stuff. Okay, let's look at the level of complexity. What is the difference between an extremely complex machine and a very simple machine, other than potentially more components executing a wider variety of functions? The complex and the simple are both at the effect of physical laws. And as far as we know, a computer doesn't do anything more than what it's programmed to do, regardless of its complexity. The computer doesn't suddenly transcend its category of being a machine simply because it's more complex. So why would the brain from this position? In conclusion, if all thoughts, evaluations, and propositions are merely effects of physical laws and chemistry, how can a physical effect be false or true? There are no false tornadoes or blades of grass. So why would the naturalistic atheist believe that there are false beliefs? Why bad thing happen?